Welcome back. So today I've got a little bit of spare time while I babysit my work computer and they're running a bunch of diagnostics on it. So I thought, well, hey, this is a perfect time to break out my new Dayton DVD that's supposed to help me test my speakers. So this is actually, I'm going to swing this camera around. So this is the kind of stuff it does. Short sweeps, long sweeps, short sweeps with no bass, bass sweeps, and pseudo noise and a delay measurement. So I've been playing around a little bit with the bass sweeps and the short sweeps. So I don't know if this is going to give me a better representation of what these speakers are actually doing compared to my, kind of like free room response running Dr. Mix and all that. This is running through the digital connection because it's going through the DVD. So it should, theoretically, it should actually be a little bit better, I would think. I think this should give me better results in terms of like measuring the actual frequency response of these speakers. I could be wrong. For you guys out there that, do this stuff all the time, you want to drop me some comments and let me know. That would be appreciated. How do you use these tools, and am I using them wrong? I guess that's what I want to know. My first go around with it. So basically what I've done so far, just playing around, is I measured the bass on this speaker, both at the woofer and the port. Same thing with that speaker. Did the same thing at the woofer and the port. And I also ran a couple of full sweeps, short sweeps that is. I've run them from a little bit of a distance away, about middle of the speaker cabinet, so to speak. And so yeah, I just figured as long as I'm messing around, you might want to see what I'm doing. So I'll get the camera situated and we will get to test it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this left speaker, and just for making it easy, I'm just going to leave these speakers in the same position that I have for listening. This is the proverbial 3 feet away. So, they always measure these things like at 1 meter, right? Now in terms of where the microphone is, I'm going to go ahead and try to line it up as best I can with kind of this area right in between the tweeter and the mid-range. I figure that's kind of a happy medium. And let's see what it does. I'm going to run a bass sweep first. And the reason for that is because after doing some tests last night, and that would be the video, right before this one, I see this funkiness in the bass that I'm not real happy with, but I want to verify that it's there. Double checked my port calculations. This port in this box should come to about 28 to 30 hertz in terms of tuning. So, and what I actually had going on was kind of a big bump in that area, and then a dive, and then it went back up around, say, 70. So I couldn't, I'm trying to kind of nail that down. Like, is that actually something that is for real and it's a problem that I need to address? Or, because it was a big dip. It's probably a good 10 to 12 dB dip. When I'm doing the in-room response measurements, I don't know, I was running the Dr. Mix thing off of YouTube, analog connection, etc. I think this should be a better representation. I mean, it's a legit DVD from Dayton, and it's running through a digital connection. So I'm thinking about starting with some bass sweeps because that's my concern right now. I do realize that the positioning of the speaker in this room, all that is going to play into it. But as far as like what I'm hearing when I'm sitting there, like near where that Pixel 7 camera is, I'm using to videotape all this stuff, right? Like, what am I hearing? So that's kind of why I'm running the test the way that I am, is just to see what I'm experiencing in this room from these speakers. There's probably a better way to do it. You know, having a special room for it, an echoic chamber. Maybe that's something I might strive for, or at least a little, you know, some kind of a makeshift box or tunnel or something coated with insulation, or something to kind of isolate the speaker to tell what the speaker itself is doing. But I'm getting ahead of myself here, because the whole concept behind this, like, you know, when I first started doing these videos, this was supposed to be simple. It was supposed to be fun. So I don't want to go getting ahead of myself and getting into some fancy measurements and stuff, because number one is that I don't have experience doing it. So I really don't know how to do it correctly. I'll look into it. I'm going to research it, obviously, because it's something that interests me. But number two is that I just wanted this to be something that any of you guys could do, you know, with a simple notebook computer that's got a microphone built into it, running some generic software, or, you know, even picking up, like, you know, not very expensive microphone. This microphone from Dayton Audio was only like $80, and the DVD that goes along with it was $20. So stuff will probably last a lifetime, and if it works and if it benefits me, then great, right? So, but this is something that I think I'm just trying to keep it as kind of rudimentary as possible, without going over everybody's heads, because, well, number one, I might not have that prowess anyway to go over your heads if you're an audiophile or a DIY guy or a speaker designer or something. But there are probably people that are going to watch it that haven't been, you know, they're not immersed in the nomenclature. They don't, they're not aware of what all the frequency sweeps are for. They might not be aware of whatever cabinet volume, port size, etc. Right? So this is kind of like more kind of a medium road type of video series where, yeah, I'm trying to get it accurate as possible, but as plain as possible too, so that kind of for a general audience, everybody can kind of grasp it. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Anyway, get back to this whole thing, because man, I can ramble like nobody's business. I'm going to try to test the left speaker. I'm going to run a bass sweep. I'll run a full sweep, and I'll let you guys see what it's doing. And let's see if that's anywhere representative of what I was, you know, doing my sweeps with the whole Dr. Mix thing off the tablet. Okay? All right. All right. This is going to be a bass sweep on the left speaker from 3 feet away. And microphone is positioned right in between the tweeter and the mid-range. But the speaker is sitting pretty much like what I listen to it at. So let's see what this frequency looks like. All right, so this is what we're looking at in terms of bass response from this left speaker. And I suppose we could use the minus 70 as our baseline. Let me get my pointing tool. And I did set the vertical marker, frequency marker, for where I felt that the bass is kicking in at, which it looks like 23 hertz. And then we've got this big hump here at 80 hertz, 82 hertz. Now at where I think the frequency tuning is at on this box is between 28 and 30. So given this measurement here, I think that is possible. I would expect to see it more at the rise, at the, you know, this portion of it, instead of a dip here, but anyway, this is what I'm getting on this woofer, and this is throughout its usable range, which is 20 to 1000, and that's pretty much what's advertised on this speaker. I've got it crossed over right at 800, so just as it drops off here. So actually the woofer rolls off minus 6 dB at 800 hertz. So right here, the woofer's rolling off at negative 6 dB. This frequency response graph, it appears to be like so. I did take a screenshot of this, and like I said, it's got, if we used this negative 70 line as kind of our datum, you can see that we got kind of a little suck out going on here, and then this guy here. So not super thrilling, but again, it's in the open, and we are like 3 feet away from that. What I'm going to show you next is actually right up against that woofer to see what the woofer itself is doing. So take a look at this measurement here. All right, so this is right at the woofer. And so here it's showing a pretty nice little hump down to, you know, what is this? About 26 hertz. And then at 40, it's picking up steam. So it looks real good through here. This is exactly the opposite of what I've been seeing on my other frequency responses. So that's pretty cool. And then I'll show you one from the port too. You see what's coming out of the port. And I'll stick that thing right in the port. All right, so that one is aimed directly at the port. All right. Pause that. Take a screenshot. Now what I'm seeing here is pretty encouraging, because it's showing, you know, that it's at its highest here at 40 hertz, 41 hertz. So in this region right here, from like 23 to 41, which does correlate to what I found on some of the online calculators, which aren't always the greatest, but like this one here is from MH Audio, and if I'm, you know, my port should be dialed in at about 28 hertz right now. So that would make sense. We've got another one here that I used, and this one here is also showing 28 hertz. And the one that doesn't make sense is this one from Omni Calculator. It shows I would be at like 90 hertz, which makes no sense to me. But these other two both match. So these are from two different sources. One is Boom Speaker, and one of them is this MH Audio. These are calculators I found online. But based on the dimensions of that port, we should be tuned roughly 28 hertz. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move this back where it was and run a full sweep for you so you can see the full sweep on the speaker. All right, it's right about 3 feet away. And let's see what this full sweep looks like. All right, so this is our long sweep. And just from a close look, it does look similar to what I was measuring out in the open without running it over the Dr. Mix thing on YouTube. Honestly, I think this looks a little bit better maybe. Figured I would demonstrate that. Let's go ahead and do the other speaker. Okay, so you've got a bird's eye view of that setup now. Microphone is 3 feet away, just like from the last measurement, and I'll go ahead and do that long sweep. I think I'll actually do it once against this one to see how different it might be. So you can see that the bass is definitely different. And it could be a lot to do with the fact that that speaker is more kind of in the corner with stuff around it. This part all pretty much looks similar. Okay, let's start with the bass like we did the last time. Okay, so that's the right speaker. And I mean, we're tracking pretty similar to the other one. Maybe not exactly, but pretty close, especially given the fact that we're kind of handicapped by the fact that these are not in a controlled environment and they're set up in a listening position. Next, we'll do the near field measurement right on the. All right. This one actually looks a lot like the graph that comes with the speaker. It's got the same kind of deal where at like 500 it starts dropping and then it picks back up. So this looks a lot like the graph that comes with the speaker in the information from Dayton. You can still see this is a speaker that reaches really low and gives a nice bottom end. We'll go ahead and do this port. I expect it to be the same. These are so much faster than the Dr. Mix sweeps. I think I'm going to be doing this from now on. Let's go ahead and clear this. All right. So that's perfect. This is just like the other driver was, or the other speaker cabinet, where its peak was here in the 40 range down to, you know, the 20 something, 21, 22, 23, 24, right? No, that's 29. So yeah, 29 to 40. So that might mean my bass reflex port might be tuned just kind of like where I expected it to be. Roughly 28 to 30. Yep, so pretty good with that. All right, so there's our high end. Not too shabby. Okay. I'm expecting the other one would be the same as well. Let's get you situated where you can see this one again. And just for snicks and giggles, let's see what is this waterfall thing like? I'm really curious about this waterfall and what this does. Let's do a full sweep. All right, so there it is in all its glory. So actually, I don't know, this doesn't look too awful bad. This piece in here, not super thrilled about, 200 to 400 range. If I could get that a little flatter, that would be really nice. All right, well anyway, thanks for joining me today to do these frequency sweeps on the Dayton measurement with the Dayton's DVD.